I claim to be be a distant descendant of the French Impressionist painter Camille Pissarro. Through my mother's family, who was Sephardic Jewish, and family migrated to the Virgin Islands to get away from the Inquisition in Portugal in the 17th century. And there's a Sephardic Jewish community there to this day. And Camille Pissarro was born into that community in the 19th century. And I wrote and got in contact with a man named Andre Pissarro, who lives in Paris today. He's an old man. He says he remembers that his grandfather's brother married someone in my mother's family. So I'm claiming descent so I can become a great painter someday. And this is a poem based on looking at one of Camille Pissarro's paintings in Paris. Returning to Paris with Pissarro, I am in a painting by Camille Pissarro, Place du Théâtre Français, Paris in the Rain, 1898. Only it is not 1898, it is 1948. A slight juggling of numbers and no horse carriages, but the same eternal feeling, sad and elated, walking in Paris in the rain. I can feel it coming through the French canvas, the light rain falling out of the pearl skies, the opera a deep pearl in the far distance, and the domed roofs of the French theater, and the stricken winter trees, and the smell of Gauloise at the metro entrance, which doesn't exist yet in the picture. The fountain in front of the theater, still spouting in the rain, and the dark chimneys above the wet mansard roofs, above the fifth floor running balconies, and the gray awnings along the avenue, dark figures under umbrellas, 2 by 2 or clustered at corners. The gray Paris light lies on the great buildings like a light gauze veil. The lucent light glimmers on the wet paving, on the sidewalks, under the trees. You can almost hear the clop clop of horses drawing the horse carriages. The rain has let up. It seems about to clear, the veil to be torn away, pearl about to open in the sky of 1948. I am 28, with new eyes alight, returning to Paris with Pissarro from the New World. It's a little complicated to read. I mean, I had some French background in my family, and I spent a lot of time there. I sort of feel it's my second home. A couple more from this book. This is well, I don't know when to stop. Oh, well. Morlaix, Into the Future with Neil Young. Morlaix is a little town down in Brittany. At the Café de la Terrasse, I've given myself up to the essence of things, trying to tune in on what's going on down here, if anything. Young French would-be punk rock stars listening to American westerns on the juke, trying to figure out how to get out of town. Son of the local pork butcher in leather pants and dark glasses snaps his finger to the beat, figuring out nothing. A slight wind has come up with the smell of roast chestnuts in this little town of Morlaix, with its stone aqueduct high over, the town bandstand empty, the chestnut trees around it waving their lush leaves. Nothing else moves. It's the provinces, deep summer. Neil Young comes on the juke. You can almost see his Stetson and the hole in his guitar. An old nag clops around a corner into the place of the mairie. Suddenly, following the horse, an amazing cavalcade appears, a troop of masked mummers, to the sound of a flute and a small tambour. beaten with a stick. The mystery behind their masks must remain a mystery, as if it were life itself. Otherwise, these would-be escapees might not run off with this traveling show of life in their hot youth and heat, over the hill through time and dangers, to the crystal canyons and the motel of lost companions, with heated pool and water beds full of shining strangers. This is a prose poem, Late Impressionist Dream. In a late Impressionist dream, I am riding in an open touring car with a group of French women in summer dresses and picture hats, with uncles in gray doeskin vests and striped shirts with armbands, and everyone is laughing and chattering in French as if no other language had yet become socially acceptable. And we get to an outdoor cafe by the Seine on the outskirts of Paris, as in a Manet painting under an arbor by the river, drinking wine and eating a grand picnic out of wicker hampers. And at the next table, a group of French intellectuals are indulging in their famous grand logic, proving that such and such is really an oxymoron. And just then some loud young men drift by in punts on the river, looking sheepishly like young American college students singing a drinking song about Whiffenpoofs. And we go on talking French as if nothing else in the real world were happening anywhere. And all the people around me turn into characters out of Marcel Proust. And we are all in Swan's Way in a budding grove with a straight Odette Chez Swann. But then, of a sudden, Blaise Cendrars bursts in, waving a newspaper headline, screaming, "Gold, gold!" And gold has been discovered in California. And I must leave immediately to join the gold rush, and wake up in my cabin in Big Sur looking like a French Canuck Jack Kerouac, and hearing the sound of the sea in which the fish still speak Breton. Well, a couple more. This actually happened. Plane life, TWA to Boston, and a woman in ambassador class having a heart attack, while the passengers wearing headphones are all laughing hilarious at a movie with Dustin Hoffman in which he impersonates a woman, and they bring in the oxygen mask and pump her up, and when she comes to, she starts crying and moaning over and over, "Oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die." And the passengers all still roaring with laughter, and the woman weeping and moaning, "I'm going to die." But she doesn't. The movie continues, the passengers continue, the plane, like life itself, sails on, carrying its helpless passengers. I guess about one more ought to be enough here. This is The Rebels. If I can find it. Star-stricken still, we lie under them in dome of night, as they wheel about in their revolutions, forming and reforming their splendiferous phosphor fabrications. Ah, the wheelwright of it, whoever he or she or it, chief fabricator of the night of it, of the night to set it in, this cut glass diamond diagram, upstairs in the lighted attic, under the burning eaves of time, lamps hung out to guide far more far-out voyagers than ourselves. Still, antic stars shoot out, burst out, errant rebels, even there, in the perfect pattern of some utopia, shooting up, tearing the silver web of perfect symmetry, as in a palm of hand, the perfect plan of line of life and heart and head, struck across a sudden by one cataclysmic tear, yet all not asunder, all not lost to darkness, all held together still at some still center, even now, in the almost incendiary dawn, as still another rebel, burning bright, strikes its match upon our night. I think you had enough. Come on up.
What is